Me never know. The amount of things me want to talk about you. You sit down in the big pink, you come like one big buckle of Pepto-Bismol. From me see you, me see diarrhea. From me see you, me see running a belly. You stink like shit, you come like pit toilet. You not smell yourself when you walk around with the fan and the fan a blow up on everybody. No one in the blood clot camp now gonna tell you, oh, you stink. Latrine. You come like pit toilet. Stop calling me blood clot name in your mouth. Saucy Santana, you stink, you want beard. You come talk about Spice always inserts herself into everything. Bitch, I know you blood clot, you that ask what's going on and it not have nothing to do with you. Dirty Bambi, you never say you insert yourself in it. Let me play it a blood clot.
It was a night that should have been remembered for its glitz, glamour, and unapologetic style. But instead, it became the most talked about and explosive moment in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. The night Saucy Santana and Spice went from smiles to shouts, from shade to shock, and from friends to full-blown enemies in a matter of minutes.
So I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. The first thing I want to talk about, I'm gonna reach a Saucy Santana yet, because I you me come out. Saucy Santana, and you me come out, but I'm not really reach a you yet. I want to start with love and hip-hop. Love and hip-hop, I have a message for you. And I want to make sure it reach you know. So I want to make sure to go at the right ears for the head of love and hip-hop. When I was in England, I saw a lot of videos from the Sweat Guzzler, Saucy Santana. First thing, when I put on my black hair, he's like, oh, I'm the reason she's wearing black hair. Baby, welcome to the club. If you don't know the show, Google me. I've always been wearing black hair. My fans and my besties know that. When I have on my black hair, it's Grace Hamilton. And when I wear blue hair, it's Spice. I've been doing this for years. You're not the reason for the season because you want everything to be about you. But sorry to disappoint you. But long story short, you've been on TikTok, a rampage. And every second you get your talk about me. Yeah, Saucy Santana, I come out. Can you guys hear me? Because you know me, I feel rush because I have a whole heap of things to do.
It all began at a high-profile industry party thrown at one of Atlanta's most exclusive lounges. The kind of event where the champagne flows, the cameras never stop rolling, and every corner is crowded with people who have something to prove. Spice arrived first, draped in glittering blue sequins that shimmered under the flashing lights. She was glowing with confidence, fresh off the success of her latest single, and determined to remind everyone that she was still the queen of dancehall.
I combo me. So me combo you, because I have 2 little minutes to spare, because when me did there in England, I was too busy. But me find 2 minutes now when me can give you. Let me make sure I listen good what you say, because the people them send me the things them, you know. So we could talk right here, so. We could talk right here, so. Me I go through everything one by one.
Saucy Santana, on the other hand, made an entrance no one could ignore. Rocking an oversized fur coat, diamond-encrusted shades, and a custom chain that spelled Material Gwirl in blinding stones, Santana walked in like he owned the place. His energy was magnetic, loud, bold, and dripping with confidence. But beneath that sparkle, there was already a brewing tension between him and Spice, one that most people didn't even realize existed.
No, clown. And she was like, you a one-hit wonder. She said,
She called you a one-hit wonder?
Hey, here it is. Us sitting at this table know a Spice song.
Spice is part of the Frost cult. And I mean, Spice is Grammy nominated. I'm gonna give that to her. But bitch, you are not Beyonce. You're also not Jasmine Blue, because who wore it better, baby? I'll wait.
Jasmine, me never gonna come about you. Me never gonna come about you because you need to care about them 2 titty them. Me want to know if your sister them nearly them out for bus by you. Me never gonna come about you because all of a sudden everybody want to wear blue hair. Everybody want to be Spice. First in the talk about my blue wig. No, all of a sudden all of y'all want to be that girl who don't want to be me so bad. The jealousy is just eating y'all up and I can't deny the fact. But Jasmine, me not really ready for you yet. Me want to stay up on Saucy Santana. You see you Saucy Santana was sitting right there so.
For months, quiet rumors had been floating through the ATL music scene. Some insiders whispered that Santana felt Spice had been throwing subtle shade during interviews, downplaying his rise in the industry. Others claimed Spice believed Santana had been using her name to keep himself in headlines. The tension had been building quietly, but neither had ever confronted the other directly until now. The night took a turn when a mutual acquaintance decided it would be cute to get them together for a photo op. At first, both smiled politely for the cameras, but anyone who knew them could feel the iciness behind those smiles. Santana leaned in with a smirk and whispered something under his breath, something only Spice could hear. Her eyes instantly widened, and the look she gave him could have cut glass. Spice stepped back, her voice rising just enough to grab the attention of people nearby. "What did you just say to me?" she demanded, her Jamaican accent slicing through the music. Santana, never one to back down, laughed. A loud, mocking laugh that only fueled the fire. "Oh, don't act brand new now," he replied, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "You know exactly what I said." By now, the cameras were shifting, sensing something about to go down. Guests began pulling out their phones, hoping to capture the moment. Spice, never one to shy away from confrontation, squared her shoulders and got right in Santana's face. She accused him of trying to ride her wave, of constantly bringing up her name to stay relevant, and of spreading messy gossip behind her back. Santana's response? A dramatic eye roll, followed by an explosive clapback that had the whole room gasping. He claimed Spice was threatened by his success, that she couldn't stand to see another personality shining just as bright in the ATL spotlight. "You the queen of dancehall, right?" he said, his voice getting louder. "Then act like it. Stop worrying about what I'm doing." The crowd was now fully invested, surrounding them in a tight circle as the argument escalated. Spice's hands were moving with every word, her voice booming as she told Santana that respect was something you earned, not demanded. Santana fired back that he didn't need her approval to shine, that he had built his brand from the ground up without anyone's help. Then came the moment that took the fight from heated to downright legendary. Spice, her patience gone, brought up a private conversation they'd had months earlier, where Santana allegedly admitted to using her name in interviews just to get attention. Gasps filled the air. Santana's jaw dropped, and within seconds, he was firing back with his own bombshell, claiming Spice had tried to get him blacklisted from performing at a major Atlanta event. The accusations flew back and forth like wildfire, each more shocking than the last. What started as a verbal showdown was now a complete public airing of dirty laundry, with both determined to humiliate the other. Security began stepping in, but neither was ready to let go of the moment. Spice stepped even closer, their faces just inches apart, and for a split second, it seemed like things might turn physical. But before any hands were thrown, Santana snatched off his shades and pointed directly at her. "You've been playing with me for too long, Spice," he said, his voice shaking with anger. "And tonight, I'm done." Spice's reply was just as sharp. "You could never play in my league, Santana. Remember who opened the doors before you even walked in the building." By now, the music had stopped. The cameras were rolling at full speed, and the tension was so thick you could feel it. Security managed to separate them, but not before Spice shouted one last warning over the crowd. "Keep my name out your mouth, or I'ma give you something real to talk about." Santana, being Santana, just laughed. That signature, over-the-top laugh, and blew her a kiss as he was escorted toward the exit. "You can't cancel a material gwirl," he called out, making sure every phone in the room caught it. The footage of that night spread like wildfire within hours. Clips of the shouting match hit social media, and Love and Hip Hop Atlanta fans immediately took sides. Some sided with Spice, praising her for standing her ground and protecting her legacy. Others defended Santana, saying he was simply calling out the industry double standards and refusing to be intimidated. The fallout was immediate. Interviews were requested from both camps, and each used the opportunity to throw even more shade. Spice claimed Santana was all talk and no catalog, while Santana hinted that Spice was holding on to a crown that's already slipping. Their feud became one of the most trending topics in reality TV, dominating blogs, gossip shows, and fan forums for weeks. Producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta knew they had struck gold. The fight wasn't just a scene, it was an entire storyline. They began weaving the drama into upcoming episodes, capturing the aftermath, the alliances forming, and the behind-the-scenes attempts to get them in the same room again for resolution. But every time they tried, the tension only got worse. At one point, a planned sit-down meeting ended before it began. Santana arrived with his entourage, rocking a shirt that read "Unbothered Queen," while Spice showed up with her crew in matching blue outfits, looking like they were ready for war. The producers barely had time to roll cameras before the shouting started again. Behind the scenes, other cast members found themselves caught in the crossfire. Friends of both tried to mediate, but it quickly became clear that neither Spice nor Santana was willing to back down. This wasn't just about a petty misunderstanding anymore. It was about pride, power, and public image. Fans began speculating about whether the feud was real or exaggerated for the cameras. But those who were in the room that night swore there was nothing fake about it. The anger, the jabs, the energy, it was all raw and unfiltered. Both stars knew how to put on a show, but this time the emotions seemed far too genuine to be scripted. As the season unfolded, the tension between Spice and Santana became the beating heart of the show. Every event, every party, every performance had an underlying question. Would the two cross paths again? And if they did, would it finally turn physical? The biggest fight ever label wasn't just about volume or insults. It was about the way it shook the love and hip-hop Atlanta universe to its core. It exposed the fragile alliances, the fierce competitiveness, and the razor-thin line between friendship and rivalry in the industry. By the time reunion taping came around, fans were practically begging for a final showdown. And when Santana and Spice sat on opposite couches, the tension in the room was electric. The other cast members barely got a word in as the two went back and forth, rehashing every detail of the infamous night. It was clear that neither had any plans to apologize. In the end, the fight didn't end with a handshake or a hug. It ended the way it started, with sharp words, loud energy, and both walking away convinced they'd won. But for fans, it was a moment that would live on forever in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. The night the Material Girl went head-to-head with the Queen of Dancehall, and the whole city of Atlanta stopped to watch.